All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another week of Aaron and Todd's fantastic nostalgia trip. I don't know. Maybe we should try a new name every week and see how it fits.
Okay, yeah,
And
I'm
I
fine
just I
with
just
it.
came up with that. Like I've been throwing around stuff like the word, trying to see how I could fit in throwback or flashback. I can't do flashback Fridays because we do Tuesdays. I can't do throwback Tuesdays because that goes to Thursday. Nothing's gelling. But trying to figure out what we can call it. You guys should throw some suggestions as Plemke. I know you've suggested a couple of things. Maybe put it in the Discord so I have record of all of it, because I kind of lose this stuff once we're done recording, and then we'll eventually figure something
Call
out.
it something to do with the revival or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. But we're going to talk this week. If you guys aren't familiar, really quick, we take this time every Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Central Time to shoot the breeze, talk as old friends, discuss new pickups, what's been new, and we usually pick a topic, something that takes us down memory lane. It could be a time in our lives, something to do with our friendship. It could be certain entertainment or arts or things we just loved growing up, and we take it chill. We're pretty chill. We don't stress. It's pretty loosey goosey. This week we're going to talk sitcoms from our youth, and I think when we go into it, I don't want to be too chained down with how we approach it. I kind of just want to freely talk about the shows that impact us. Like, for example, I know a show that Todd and I bond over a lot. And if we bring up that show, for example, and we decide to really dig in and talk about that show quite a bit, well, that's what happens. If we end up touching on quite a lot, that's what happens, right? But it seems like the world of sitcoms is so big, it might be a crime and a waste to blow our entire wad on just like, oh, let's talk about Bob Newhart. Let's talk about the 80s. Not that's a bit cumbersome. Like you could almost just take TGIF and make that a topic,
Yeah.
or 80, or just really narrow it down. But we'll just kind of take it as we come. But we're going to go ahead and just kind of talk shop, shoot the breeze a little bit. Todd, what's new with you? How's your week? What's going on?
Busy, man. Busy working, busy kids. Nothing out of the ordinary. So, got my kid's birthday this week, so it's kind of crazy around these parts. But yeah, it's starting to get cold here, man. It's this morning. It was in the 20s,
Oh, I'm
so
jealous.
it was pretty dang cold. And I think it got up to the high 60s. So
I'm
the
not jealous
leaves
of the
are
20s.
the leaves are changing, and I'm going to be stuck inside for about 6 months coming up here. So, well, not too much has changed then because I'm always stuck inside with kids and
All the
stuff.
leaves
So,
are brown,
yeah,
and
but
Todd is gay, and Todd is
I'd rather
gay.
be California dreaming though.
No, yeah, well, I'm not jealous of the 20-degree weather. I do love it when it's cool. I'm still waiting for it to get down to our winter temps here. We've had it's in the 80s all week. I think next week we're supposed to dip down to the mid 70s, but
Nice.
I like our lows of like low 30s and our highs of 60s. That's amazing to me, but I like it in the 30s or 40s cuz I like those brisk night walks. Put on a beanie, put on a nice jacket, nothing too crazy.
Sit
That's
around a
what it's all about.
campfire. Yeah.
Yeah, sit in front of some fire, and then just not have to worry about your pipes freezing. It's basically the best parts of a winter and a cold season with none of the liability and threat of damage and stuff. But or dude, chiseling off your car, I don't miss it. I'm from the Midwest too. I don't miss waking up an hour earlier than I would normally just to start my car and let it defrost for 30 minutes, right? Just so
Yeah.
when I come out there, it's softened up the windshield to where I can actually scrape off the frost all over it, dude. It's
That's the
just
worst.
it's the
Luckily,
you
yeah.
you just
Luckily,
lose
I
so
work from
much your
home,
morning.
so that's
Yeah,
that's the
well,
worst.
that's a new normal, yeah, so I don't know
Yeah.
how many people really deal with that, but I know people still do, and I don't miss it, man. Dude, I literally had mornings where maybe I was running behind and I didn't have time to thaw out my car for an hour,
Yeah.
so I was trying to expedite the process, and I'd be chiseling, like, undefrosted ice on my windshield, dude, and maybe I didn't always have gloves or something, dude, and it's like my hands were just numb. I thought I was gonna lose them. And then, like, or maybe I would chisel off just enough to where I could see, like, a little eye hole, dude. You've been there where you're just, like, looking through
Oh
something this
yeah, yeah.
big?
You're driving like yeah. Yeah.
And then you're like looking through a little thing, and then you're hoping, and as you're driving to work, as you got the defroster on, you see that little hole you made slowly get a little bigger as you're going. Uh,
I remember not having defrosters back in high school. Then I had to put like a hot cup of coffee up there so to like defrost my windows, dude. Yeah, it was
yeah,
bad.
she just farted inside the car with your windows up.
You know what the worst thing was when I lived in an apartment though. So you couldn't really start your car because you had to worry about somebody stealing it. And this is pretty much pre, like automatic starters and all that stuff for your car, and
Yeah.
that just sucked, man. It's like you had to sit in your car and wait for like half an hour. So,
Dude, I've broken off a door handle because I lifted it too early and it was kinda icicled, and you
oh
pull
yeah,
it, and you just snap it off because you don't I
oh,
used to have to bring a cup of warm water.
yep.
"Cup of warm water, would you?"
Mm,
And I'd pour it on the handles, and, like, let that
mhm.
ice crack, dude. I just don't think, people in where I live in Arizona are used to that. This isn't like California where no one's from here. We do have a lot of people that are just born and raised Arizona. So well, that's cool, man. I'm glad everything's okay. Do you want to talk about some stuff? Have you watched any new movies lately, by the way? Besides, we've been enduring the shitstorm that is the reviews for Halloween Ends. And I don't want to get too much into spoiler territory because Mac and Zach doesn't look like Todd's going to make it. We're going to be doing a stream this Friday and we're going to go all about it ad nauseum. We're going to talk about it. Maybe we can get someone like Josh James or Goat on or something. Goat's a
Yeah,
defender of it. So that'll make it interesting because we have some not defenders as well. And I always try to be fair, right? I try to find the positives in things, but I definitely, spoiler alert, somebody in our group is probably just going to be just bashing it nonstop for no reason without probably a whole lot of weight. Because they're just so close to the franchise. Spoiler, spoiler. And then you have someone that might defend it, and you have me who definitely feels one way over the other, but I'm gonna like try and break it down and tell you why I feel that way and the things that I actually liked or maybe thought it had going for it, et cetera, et cetera. It'll be a heated one though. I'm excited about it.
it makes Halloween Kills look like Citizen Kane.
No, 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 you can't. You're giving spoilers, man. Don't, don't,
I'm not gonna
don't.
be on the stream. That's just me.
Well, we don't want to talk. I don't want to blow my
Okay,
wad on it
okay,
too
okay.
early because I could easily just, dude. Our private IMs between, dude, IMs in the group chats, IMs between me and you, private IMs between me and Mac. It's just been Halloween Ends all week,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't.
so much. It's just like, and yeah, I'm gonna try and save all that. But so, you haven't watched anything else?
Yeah, I have. So I
What have you
watched that,
watched?
and then I watched. What did I watch? I watched last night. So this kind of ties into one of my pickups actually, because I haven't watched it yet. I got this like a couple months ago. It was on sale on Amazon, and it's the Funhouse 4K.
Lucky
Don't know if
man. I've had the Blu-ray, the Shout Factory Blu-ray since it came out, which has been like probably almost 10 years at this point.
And I don't know what that Blu-ray looks like, but this looks amazing. It's great. And this was the first time I've seen it in probably about 10 years, 15 years. This movie's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
great.
it's fantastic, and it's total like you really don't think about how much Rob Zombie like rips it off, but I mean,
Mm.
it's a complete rip off of House of Thousand Corpses, or he rips this
I
off.
I haven't watched
Um,
it in years myself, but I remember the Blu-ray looking good. But then again, I don't know if I don't I might have been rocking a 1080 at max when I watched it last. I haven't watched it on the most current of hardware. So
yeah, and
did
I
you
haven't
find that
owned
on
it.
sale?
Yeah, it was like $19, I think,
Mm.
on some sale on Amazon, like probably a couple months ago. And I didn't own it on any physical media, and I haven't seen it in probably 15 years. So I was like, "Oh, I gotta pick it up."
Let me see that cover again.
It's the old school one, the clown.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
an awesome cover.
Plemke
So
wants Clown House, not Fun House. Yeah, we have our opinions about Clown House. I don't know. You guys might like it, but I don't know. I can't really get past the sodomy on that. I can't. How about that? What if they threw a blooper reel on the special features of that? What would it consist of? You know,
no, and this
terrible
is,
stuff.
I mean, this is more creepy atmosphere than I mean, even the gore. I mean, the gore's okay and everything, but just the atmosphere about the carny folk and everything like that.
Yeah,
How it's such a basic story. I love that. How it's
and
so
I know you don't necessarily equate a carnival or whatever with Halloween, but it's a very Halloweeny movie to me.
absolutely.
It's probably just all like the makeup and just the I don't know, just the atmosphere of it all. Hey, I appreciate you, Trekopedia, referring to me by my God-given Christian name, Mr. Goodpart. He says I'm in AZ now, and people say it's cold and 60 degrees. I'm like back in Minnesota, it's cold, folks. Yeah, I know. It's same thing. It's like when it rains out here too. It could just be drizzling, and people act like it's a flash flood or something, because they're not used to stuff so much. But I love it out here, man. Terrifier 2, Plumkey. No, we haven't seen I haven't seen Terrifier 2. I know a lot of people are saying amazing things about it. I remember enjoying the first Terrifier for what it was
I
worth.
did. I enjoyed it too.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty hollow. There wasn't a whole lot to the movie, but it was all about the gore. People just like the kills, and
It was like
so
a 70s exploitation type of movie, which I liked. I mean, it
so I
was
wonder if
cool.
this new one has like some substance to it. If it's got a little bit more of a budget, I imagine it probably has a little bit more of a budget. Um,
I Yeah, I think it does. I think it might have a little bit better acting. I pre-ordered it though because I wasn't going to go to the theater and spend the money on that, but I do really want to see it, and people are
I
really
have a
putting it
feeling
over.
that's gonna go to Shudder, like, right away, so I'm gonna hold
People are
off.
really putting it over. So
Yeah, well, I know can you think of any other horror movie slash character in just a short amount of time has become, like, icon status? You have people, like, dressing up at cons and stuff like that.
Art
It's
the
really
Clown
weird
is
how
really cool though. I do see why people really latch on to him.
but, I mean, when's the last time you really had something like
Yeah,
that?
you haven't.
And I was listening to a podcast with the director last week, and he was saying the original movie was made on, like, 35 grand.
Was that the All Hallows Eve? Because I know they
No, no,
did
no, not
the
that was like the indie shorts that
yeah.
consisted had Art the Clown in them.
Okay.
So that was his first appearance. But no, the first movie Terrifier, he said I think he made for 35 grand, which is insane. And it does look budget, but it kind of fits what they were doing. And like you said, the kind of old school grindhouse look. But the fact that he made anything that people latched onto like that for 35 grand is pretty insane. But
Well, yeah, it's the whole exploitation, and Plumpy's just saying it's very, very graphic, which is good. I mean, that's what I want. Like when it comes to movies like that, I just want like you liked Halloween Kills. I just want like mindless gore and shit when it comes to like Art the Clown.
yeah, well, there you go. Well, I have a feeling I heard spoilers that in this new Terrifier, it's more about this one kid that wants to take on the persona of Art the Clown.
Okay, I did see that in the trailer. Yeah. Okay.
You know I'm bullshitting you, right?
No.
You didn't see shit in the trailer. I was making fun of Halloween Ends.
No, but there's a
What?
kid there's a kid in there that's interested in Art the Clown in the trailer.
Oh, really? I never
Yeah.
even seen the trailer,
I
man.
don't know if he takes on the persona of it, but
I
I
just
mean,
wrote the movie.
oh, okay.
God, someone give me a call. I was just trying to
Well,
take the piss on Halloween Ends, but anyway, well, that's cool. I don't think
I think he
I
dressed up like him. I don't know if he's actually impersonating he because he looks young, but I don't know. We'll see what
dude,
happens.
I don't know what I've watched this week. I mean, honestly, my mind has been so occupied with Halloween Ends. That might have been the last thing of note because, yeah, I mean, that was this week. I'm not really sure, but we can talk about things that we've gotten. Now, last week there was a couple of big things. I was teasing Todd. I was teasing Todd about it for 2 weeks now, and I was like, "Oh, I can't wait to show you." He's like, "Do you want me to tell you now? I don't know if I can hold my tongue." He's like, "No, wait," and then I forgot. I forgot. So I got holdovers from last week, and I got a couple of newer things. I'll save the holdovers for last. Can I start? Can I have? Is that
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. Go ahead and start. I only have like 3 to talk about, so go
Really?
ahead.
Okay. So this came in the mail today. I actually had a whole bunch. I had like a birthday coupon from Target, and I had some points build up. So I went ahead and just bought their rumors. We were
Oh,
talking about
nice.
rumors last week,
Beautiful.
and so I just picked it up. What are you gonna do? Picked it up. And what is up there? Okay, that's one of my holdovers. And actually, I got this sort of on a whim. Like, as in, I think I literally ordered it yesterday, and I meant to tell you about it. I didn't know if you were interested. I didn't even hear about them releasing this, but they released the last Slipknot album in a colored vinyl in sequence with all the other ones. They've been releasing all of them again.
I already have that one.
When'd you get this one?
I think I pre-ordered that like a couple months ago.
Oh, you didn't tell me about it, you prick. Okay.
They all went up there, dude.
No, this one didn't. Not at the same time. Like back when All Hope Is Gone and stuff. No, that was the last one I saw that went
Oh,
open. This one never did. Anyway, they're available. I bought that. Even though I have concerns with how it's wrapped. Like, look how baggy it is, dude. Can you see how this plastic's moving? It feels
yeah.
like it's not really shrink wrapped and compressed. Look at that. You see that wiggle?
God,
Dude, like it's just I don't
see
know.
that wiggle?
You see that you see that it looks like someone threw it in a Ziploc bag. I don't know, but
Yeah.
the damage isn't too bad. Oh, but they did throw it in a giant box with no bubble.
Okay.
So it was in one of those big boxes that looks like it can fit a
I see
stereo.
some ring wear on the back there too.
Is that what that is? Let me see.
Maybe not. Maybe I'm just seeing things. It's probably just the
Uh,
reflection.
I don't know. I could see where the imprint word is in there. I don't really give a shit about that. But no,
I'm just kidding with you, man. I don't know. I can't
dude, it
see
was
that.
bouncing around. I hate that though. When you just know that a record a one by itself is in this giant box and there's no bubble wrap, there's no nothing, just getting knocked around, dude, in the back of that truck. I don't I don't know if people just don't care about their job. They just like I get it. Oh, I'm out of an appropriate size box or I'm out of a vinyl box. I guess I have to use this big one. Okay. Are you also out of bubble wrap? No, you're not. You're not. They like somebody's like, "Ah, I'm going on vacation for 3 days. I just want to get the fuck out of here. This is my last one.
Oh,
I don't care."
absolutely.
So I feel like I get the brunt of that a lot with Amazon, but make sure. Oh, okay. I'm gonna save my three big ones for last. This is the ones from last week. But I got a couple of movies that Todd actually referenced on sale, some 4Ks. I did I don't know why I've been pushing off Gremlins for so long, just because I like Gremlins. I don't know why I just never had like a real connection with Gremlins as a kid.
I never did either. I mean, I watched it a handful of times and I really liked it, but I didn't love it.
Yeah, I've seen it quite a bit, and I it's a good movie. It's a lot of fun. I like the Christmas atmosphere. I like I on paper I like everything about it. I don't know what it is about it. I always like Gremlins 2 better. That's just me. But anyway, I always and this is not the first time it's been on sale for 10 bucks. I think it was
Yeah.
on sale for 10 bucks last holiday season and I passed it up. And I passed up the steel books and all that crap. And I don't know why I just decided to get it now. Probably because I was in the mood, but and probably because I was already buying a couple of other things. I bought Alligator on 4K, Robert Forster,
Yeah.
and I ended up getting these from Best Buy because some of these were sold out on Amazon. But and I was able
Yeah.
to do store pickup, so I just got them that day.
I got that one too.
You know, another one where, to be honest with you, not to be a poser, but I've never been a big fan of The Howling, and for 9.99 on 4K, I'm gonna give it another go.
Oh
It's just
yeah. That was a hell of a price. That's why I got it too. I
I
mean,
feel like I feel like a movie like this, if I'm going to have an opportunity or a chance to appreciate it, it's getting older. So maybe
it's it's good. It's more atmospheric. It's really good. You'd like it if you haven't
but
watched it in a
I
while.
haven't watched it in years. So it's like maybe
Yeah,
now in my old age, I might appreciate it a little better.
you will.
So and then lastly, don't ask me why I bought this because I really liked the first one, and then I liked the first one a lot to where I blind bought the second one. Like, oh, the first one was a lot of fun. And the premise of the second one was like, well, this is a no-brainer. This is gonna be great. I'm just gonna buy it sight unseen. And it was fucking terrible. So I might ask you, why did I buy the third one? Well, I don't know. I'm just a completionist, but I bought the new Mortal Kombat animated movie, Snowblind.
Oh my god.
Based on I don't know, man. I'm a sucker for animation and I'm a sucker for Mortal Kombat lore. And it's they're kind of like what if stories, like non-canon, just I don't know. It might be total dog
They
shit.
saw you. They saw you coming on that one.
Yeah, they did. But totally. I mean, the last one was so bad. If this one is bad, I have only myself to blame because, like I said, but they are the ones that trolled me because the first one was good.
Mhm.
And then the second one was supposed to go all about the Mortal Kombat 2 and 3 tournament. Like they were kind of combining. Like, oh, how is that not going to be fun? And it was
Yeah.
shit. And then really quick, I'm gonna sort of just go through these pretty fast, but I just got all my haul from the Shocktober sale. I already showed you guys Women's Prison Massacre from a couple of weeks. I had just gotten that one, and now I just got everything else in the mail yesterday. So I'm just going to kind of spitfire these.
I'll probably do mine next time. I still haven't gotten my complete order.
Yeah. Okay. The only item in my stack in my haul here that actually had a slipcover still, which goes to show that it probably sold very poorly. Nobody bought RoboCop 3. It still got the O cards, but I got RoboCop 3. And you know what's funny is RoboCop 3 is dog shit. Why did I get it? Because it was really cheap and I got to complete the collection. They saw me coming yet again. I got RoboCop 2, also not great. I have a sickness.
You have a worse sickness than I do.
Isn't it funny though? Like, you don't like something and you say no to buying it, but then you have a price for it. You have a price on shit. Well, they hit my price. I got to have it, but I still don't like it. It doesn't change the fact that I don't like it. It's like, well, for that price, I could learn to like it. I'm
not gonna watch it. I'm not gonna buy it, dude.
I'm a sick man. Here's a movie I do love, and I wonder if this is one that would eventually get like a Criterion or something because it's Cronenberg. But Dead Ringers, I've always
really good movie.
I don't know if Dead Ringers is really Criterion Cronenberg, but I really like Dead Ringers.
I do too. It's a great movie.
This is one I've never seen, but Chris Sarandon is a national treasure. The Resurrection.
I got that too. I've been wanting to see that.
I've never seen it. However, the Shout Factory customer service rep particularly called this one out when I emailed him because I was asking him if they could link my order to my account because I forgot to. And he's like, oh, yeah, I went ahead and linked it for you. He's like, by the way, I just watched Resurrection last week. You're going to fucking love it. That's what he said. He's like, awesome. And I've never seen these movies. These movies might be total garbage for all I know, but it was so cheap for the box set. It's Alive.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if these are.
I haven't seen those. No.
But it was really cheap for the whole set. So I'm like, why not, man? I mean, look at this thing. Can you guys see that weird looking baby? It's like a puppet, dude. Oh, jeez. All right, and then
surprised you didn't get the Poison Ivy collection or whatever it was.
No, I have standards, but you're quickly gonna call me out on having standards here in a second. I want to show this next one. Contributing further into my descent and my sickness. Why did I buy Robert Englund in the Phantom of the Opera? Why? It is dog shit. And to be fair, I've not seen this since I was a kid. And I didn't like it back then. Think about it. The shameless advertising. He's literally in Freddy makeup. He does not look like this in the movie, people. He's got a hat, a fedora. He's wearing the Freddy makeup. And Robert Englund was Freddy. Now he's the Phantom of the Opera. And
it says switch, dude.
And it says an all new nightmare. And this got me as a kid, dude.
That's like the executive decision cover with Steven Seagal that he's in there for a whole 2 minutes.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm always here to watch Steven Seagal fucking blow out of a plane, dude. Never
That's
to
true.
see again. He sucks, dude. I remember when that movie came out, we rented it, and my mom was a big fan of Kurt Russell and Steven Seagal at the time. And I remember when we watched the movie, and he just kind of flies off the plane. He's like hanging off the edge, and he just lets go.
We thought he was still alive.
Yeah, my mom was like, "Oh, he'll be back." He's like, he's hanging off the edge of the jet or something. Like they're not just gonna kill him, and he just never comes back. It's great.
No, we kept waiting. We kept waiting for Steven Seagal to come back.
Yeah, that's the biggest troll, which is mind blowing because he was a big marquee actor at the time. So
yeah,
total mind blow. Next movie Todd doesn't like for some reason. I love it. It's one of my favorites. Death Becomes Her.
No,
I love this movie. I think it's amazing.
I watched it a million times as a kid. I never liked it.
I love it. I think it's fantastic. And I don't like Meryl Streep, but this is proof she can be in a good movie, but she'll never do another movie like that again, she said. She says she's above working with special effects, like having the hole in your stomach and stuff and all the silly stuff. Yeah, she's stupid. This is Nosferatu the Vampire. This is a Werner Herzog film. It's really good. It's probably the best adaptation of Dracula / Nosferatu ever. Have you watched it?
I've seen it before. I really enjoyed it.
Really great. This is a movie I always liked when I was a little kid. I haven't seen in a while. I'm looking forward to going down memory lane with this one, but Ghost Story, Fred Astaire.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, this one, what year did this come out? It came out in 1981, so it's older. And it's got Fred Astaire, amongst some other people, but Fred Astaire is the top bill, which is kind of weird, right? And this is 1981, so Fred Astaire's old. And it's, it's PG rated, but I remember being kind of creeped out at this. It's just a ghost story, haunted house as a kid. 1981. The fact that it's PG means that it very well might be more like a PG-13 or an R. You
Yeah,
never know. So I'm looking forward to revisiting that one. I got The Burning. I still have yet to pick this up.
I got that too. I haven't picked that up either, but I did get it on this sale.
And I like Rat from what's it called? Fast Times at Ridgemont Highs in this. And he looks
Jason
exactly like,
Alexander.
yeah, and Jason Alexander. Rat though looks just like Scott Ian. He looks like a young Scott Ian with hair.
Yeah, it's a
It's really weird.
fantastic flick.
This is one I've always passed up as well. But it's been I remember when I watched this flick, this movie was pretty new, and we bought it at like a Dollar Tree or something when it came out in like 2002, 2003. I might be off on my years. And I remember I didn't really care for it then, but 20 years have passed. It's time to watch Bubba Hotep again.
Travis loves that movie. I don't. I think it's shit, but he
I
loves it.
I'm gonna try. By mind you, I didn't really buy anything that I pretty much stuck with the $8 shit,
Yeah, yeah,
$9. Like I didn't
yeah.
spend crazy money on any of this. Finally got Brain Scan.
Oh, it's about time.
Yeah, I just didn't want to pay the 20, $25 for it.
It's
And I
worth
don't
it, man.
and I don't remember what this one might have been more than $8. This one might have been more like a 12, 13, 14. I don't remember.
It's
But
worth it though.
yeah, this ain't getting no 4K Criterion release, so I feel pretty comfortable getting
I,
that.
I love your mom's comment. Are you a big enough sucker to finish your Home Alone collection?
Are you a bad enough dude to rescue the president's daughter? Sounds like the Bad Dudes opening. Are you a bad enough dude to get her back? No, the help. The president's daughter has been kidnapped by ninjas. Are you a bad enough dude to get her back? That's what it said. Are you big enough a sucker to finish your Home Alone collection? You mean everything past the second one? No, I'm not.
No.
Yeah, it's true. That is what, but I'm also not a bad enough sucker to like get that new collection that Vestron announced, the Silent Night, Deadly Night 3, 4, 5.
I'm getting it.
Are you really? Do
Yeah,
you like those?
for $17. Yeah, I like
Do
the
you
third
like
one. I enjoy them. They're just mindless crap, dude. I enjoy that.
former biggest movie star in the world, Mickey Rooney?
Yeah,
Okay. Anyway, I got Strays. Never seen Strays,
I haven't seen that either.
so I shall check it out. I've never owned this on DVD or anything, VHS or anything, but I finally bought Black Christmas.
I got that too. That's
I don't know
great.
why I was never compelled to actually own a copy of it, but I just
No.
never did. Finishing out my John Carpenter collection, I have to flesh it out with all the unofficial John Carpenter movies. I have the Kurt Russell Elvis movie, which is a TV biopic. It's not exactly a John Carpenter joint, right? It's just it's a director for hire flick. And even stuff like Starman, which is kind of a director for hire type of vehicle, family movie. I had to get Village of the Damned, right? And this is another TV movie of the 90s, just like,
Yeah,
and it stars
I haven't seen that in forever.
Christopher Reeves, Mark Hamill. It's a remake of Village of the Damned, directed by John Carpenter. So, total TV miniseries vibes, but I'm all down for it. And I got Cat People.
I've never seen that, so I'm
Yep,
curious
I've never
to
seen it either,
see
but
what you have to
it's been
say.
on my watch list a lot, and I know it's been on and off streamers, and I've just never sat down and watched it. Lastly, I got American Gothic. I know Todd saw this somewhat
I
recently.
enjoyed that. Yeah, I got that in the last year's sale too. I
Yeah,
I I really enjoy it.
I'm definitely intrigued to watch it. So that's it for those. And Todd, if you have three things, I'm gonna let you show those before I go on to my last three.
Okay, so the stuff that I got was on the Amazon sale. That I think I threw that at you. What? What's so funny?
Plemke's like, are you a bad enough fucker to buy every Tracy Lords film? Not the
Ugh.
ones that'll get you thrown in prison.
But kind of go on Amazon. They were cheap. I mean, I usually only buy movies when they're pretty cheap, or
Same here.
if they're newer and they come out. And
Apparently, I even buy really bad movies when they're cheap. you know.
oh, I no, dude. I'm just giving you shit, dude. I buy bad movies all the time.
To be fair, though, the price has to align with timing as well,
Yes,
because
yes,
some of these have been that dirt cheap in the past few years, and I'm
yeah.
like just not in the mood. Like, no, I don't need it. I don't need it. And then they
Mhm.
catch you in a moment of weakness. You know how it goes. But go ahead. Or you're buying other stuff with it. I'm like, whatever. I'll just buy that too since I'm buying this other stuff. But continue.
First one I got was Christine on 4K.
Oh, I've
One,
had that. I got the
one-
Steelbook.
yeah, one of the best Carpenter movies I think there is. I love that movie.
Get it from
Second
Best
one,
Buy. Where'd you get it from?
Amazon. It was like $10 or $11 or
Nice.
something.
Yeah, I got the steel book of that. No regrets.
This one was like, I think it was like $20, $22. It just came out. Cover's awful, but it's the Lost Boys 4K.
Yeah, that cover's terrible.
It's terrible.
It does not advertise the movie well, in my opinion.
No. So
How's it look? Have you watched it?
I haven't watched it. No. I
Yeah.
usually get around to watch my movies like probably like a month later. I pretty much have a stack of movies that I try to go through, and
Yeah.
the last one, I don't know if you're a fan of. I was always a fan of, especially when I was a kid. This one, I really wanted to see what this looked like in 4K because I heard it looks awesome. It's the Bram Stoker's Dracula.
I got that too. Oh, did I
Um,
not show you that?
no.
Oh, well, there's a couple things I missed then because I got Bram Stoker's Dracula too.
And I think that was like $10, $11. So I do enjoy that movie. I remember renting it all the time when it first came out on
I thought I
VHS.
showed you that when did I not show you family Adam's Family, or was that on not on the stream? Was that
You
last
showed
week?
me Adam's Family, but you didn't show me
Then I must have
Dracula.
missed that, but I got
Yeah.
that too. I'm looking, and I have seen that before.
Mhm.
But you know what? That's one I want to watch again with fresh eyes, right? Because when I was younger, I'm like, gosh, Keanu Reeves is terrible in this.
Oh, I love Keanu Reeves
But you
in
know
it.
what? I have a renewed love for Keanu Reeves now, and maybe the hammy and his soul suit it. So
Yeah, so that's pretty much all I have for this week. So
no, that's cool. So I'm trying to think. Okay, so the first one, this is the top three. These three I got technically a couple weeks ago, and these are honestly probably not things I would have splurged on just because they tend to be a little bit higher. But the timing lined up, man. I got some gift cards for my job for my birthday,
mhm.
and I had a little bit of Amazon credit, and they were pretty generous with that stuff. So I had enough money to splurge on it. But the first one, very, very cool. Really, really guy from a band, and he's got a really good solo career. Any guesses?
No. Oh, Jerry Cantrell. Okay.
Volume 1 and 2,
Oh,
right?
nice. Okay.
We have the volume 1. This is the 4 LP double set. This is the album as it was meant to be, right? Look, it comes in a big like box, right? Big slip box. But
So is that
it's
Bogey Depot? What is that?
no, no, no,
The
no, no.
first
So
one?
so this is Degradation Trip. You know the one you have and I have as well with the
Yeah,
arm,
yeah. I didn't
the
know there
green
was
one?
a. Yeah.
Yes. This is how the album was supposed to be. It was originally delivered and shopped around to his labels as a double album, right? It's 25 tracks.
Mm.
And he struggled for a year for anybody to buy it. He's like nobody would pick it up, and he got signed to Roadrunner, and Roadrunner signed him and said they would release it, but they had to compromise because they said, look, the market is just not healthy for a double album. We don't think that's going to go over well profit wise. So here's our offer. Cut it down to one album, cut it down to a single disc record CD, and then eventually we'll release the whole thing. So the one that we all bought like day one was that one with the green cover and the arm.
Yeah.
And he just sort of picked out certain songs and he put them in a brand new sequence. But then this eventually did come out. And this is actually how it's supposed to go. And it's funny because you would think, well, okay, well, the first half is the album that we have. You would think that's
Mm.
the way it is. Nope. All the tracks that are from the album that we have and that are actually scattered throughout. They're all in different sequence. And it's got
Gotcha.
the other half of the songs sequenced differently. So it is kind of weird because I bonded with the one that I got day one, the just the arm, the standard version. I bonded with the way that one flows. So when you hear one track, I'm expecting to hear Angel Eyes next to it, or I'm expected to
Yeah.
hear Chemical Tribe after. Nope, it shuffles them all up on this.
Hmm.
So it's kind of weird to adjust to that, but this is the way it was intended. And there's a really cool insert and booklet on here with a big op-ed or whatever, a big statement written by Jerry Cantrell talking about the history of it and talking about how this is the album. Like this isn't like bonus, like no, this is the actual Degradation
That's
Trip, the one
nice.
you got. He said the one that, and I knew this when that came out, when I read it in Guitar World where he was saying I heard about all the stuff they had to do. He's like, yeah, this is a compromise I had to make. But this is like a Reader's Digest version, the little version. And if you
Yeah.
want the whole experience, this is the full blown novel. So anyway, it's like $60.
Hmm.
And it is music on vinyl. And I listened to it, and of course it sounds great. Okay, next one. I'm going in order of impressiveness. Now, granted too, it also aligned perfectly because these things were also on sale. So the prices were lower a little bit. And this one I've had my eye on for a while. All Things Must Pass, the box set.
Oh, we were just talking about George Harrison.
Yeah, we were. And and that didn't even trigger it to tell you about this. I still forgot we were talking
That's
about it in the 70s.
awesome.
Yeah, and this is the one that comes with 5 LPs,
Hmm.
the whole deal, and this thing
Yeah.
was knocked down. I think it got knocked down to like $60 or
Really?
$50. It was cheap, so I think you should jump on it. And it's one of those things where it's literally just a few dollars more than the standard version.
Yeah.
So it's like it's knocked down, and that's the way a lot of these box sets are. Don't ever buy them right away because eventually they'll have too many on their hands and they have to lower the price because they're pricey, right? This thing
Yeah.
was like $120, 100. So I have not cracked this one open yet, but I am stoked.
Yeah.
You
That's
get knocked
awesome.
down, you get up again.
It's
This is not
fantastic.
Chumbawamba.
Yeah.
Clunky.
You get up again.
All right, which is a guilty pleasure track of mine. All right, the last one. Trekopedia at Mr. Goodpart and at Riverman. Multiple reports that Barbarian won't get a physical media release right now, even though it hits HBO Max next week. Sorry, that
Disney.
just huh?
Disney owns it, right? Barbarian.
Barbarian? They do?
Yeah.
Who put that out?
I think Disney.
Anyway, sorry, I thought that was more pressing news. I interrupted my big one, my final one. Once again, this is on sale, and I never pulled the trigger because it's like, gosh, the price tag is so hefty, but they cut it. I don't remember where they cut it. It might have got cut in half. I'd have to look at the prices.
Yeah, he said Disney owns it, so that's why.
One of their subsidiaries. Okay, Todd,
Yeah.
this is something else you might want to consider. If it's still pricey, but it got cut a lot. The Mark Knopfler box set.
Oh, it did get cut.
Yep. So I got the whole thing, it's just like my Dire Straits box set, and it's got all the Mark Knopfler albums.
Yeah.
So it's pretty sweet, man.
Sailing
And
into
unlike
Philadelphia
yeah,
sounds
and
great.
unlike the Dire Straits is 5 records, if I'm not mistaken, in that set. This is 6. It's kind of a shame it doesn't have the Local Hero soundtrack in there.
You don't? Oh, I thought you
No,
would.
it does. Yeah, I know it's kind of weird because it's technically a Mark Knopfler record. There's probably something to do with the rights in the movie, but yeah, I mean, it's got Golden Heart, Sailing to Philadelphia, the Ragpicker's Dream, Shangri-La, Kill to Get Crimson, and a whole B-sides collection. So
Hmm.
I am stoked to listen to this, man. And this is awesome, dude. Like I want to do the Turbo Man thing, right? And hug it. Because I've been looking at this for over a year, man.
That's definitely nice.
And like I said, having a gift card mixed with the fact that they slashed it, I'm like, I got to get it, man. And I'm glad I didn't pay the 200 plus for it. So
Yeah, I end up getting gift cards every month for Amazon through work as well. They give us an extra bonus or whatever, which is nice. So I try to save that shit up and buy a bunch of stuff too.
if they ever slash that, they put out a Soulfly box set of the first 4 albums that was just stupidly priced. If they slash that thing down to like $60, I'll get that. I'm not gonna pay no $120 for it or something stupid. Same thing with Sepultura, like the post Max years, they released a box set. I don't like that stuff enough to justify like the 200 plus price tag. That gets slashed down to, because I look at how much I'm paying per record.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
if the math makes sense. So
Absolutely.
anyway, that's what I got, man. I'm super stoked. What do you think, Todd?
I like the Mark Knopfler box set. That's nice.
I'm really stoked. All right, so that's all we got as far as the stuff we picked up. I hope it doesn't sound like we're boasting. Isn't it? Part of me was thinking like, it is kind of weird how we're all showing off all the stuff we got like every week, like it's Christmas at our house all the time.
I just buy stuff that's on sale. So
Yeah, no, it's typically all stuff on sale. Trickopedia, I hope the new Halloween box set price gets cut sooner than later. 3 movies for $100.
Some
Yeah,
people ended up getting that Walmart box set.
somebody
Mine got shut down.
some
So
people got lucky, really?
yep, yep.
See,
They
that's
got
a
shipped
great
out
example.
beforehand.
That's a great example of movies that I just don't like. I mean, they wouldn't even be worth $50 to me.
I'm
Now,
not.
if that
Yeah, I'm not buying it either.
it's just now, but then again, I mean, I get it when something gets so stupid low and you want to just finish your collection, even if that means putting shit in the collection. Yeah, I get it. Like, I don't know, man. If that thing got knocked down to 30, I might be a sucker, but they're not good movies. They're terrible movies. So,
No, I'm
and if I
with you.
get that, if I get the itch to buy them, even if they're on sale, all I have to do is stream them probably somewhere for free and just get another dose of how bad they are. Like, oh, what was I thinking? Talk me off that ledge. So,
No, I agree, man.
am I?
I'm gonna be waiting on that to hit probably about $20, and then I'll get it.
Yeah, and then I have a whole collection, and I'm gonna have an empty spot where there's no Halloween ends.
I'm curious of how many of those they made box sets, because I can't imagine those are going to be doing very well. Just keep an eye on Amazon because those will just dip and dip and dip.
Oh yeah, yeah. It happened with like the Jason box set too, right?
Yeah, and on sale that Jason box set was going for like what $80 or whatever, like on Scream Factory website and Best Buy, or not Best
Dude,
Buy, but
that
Amazon. That's a
yeah,
good deal, man.
that price point that they have on that new Halloween box set, it just can't be sustained. It's just
No,
ridiculous.
it's
There's
terrible.
and it almost feels like they're just fishing to see they're just fishing for those diehards that will buy it right away and pay that much money, but it's not worth that much money. It will drop. And the good thing about it is even if you predict wrong and it sells out before it drops to any kind of price, who cares? You missed out on some
Yeah.
shit movies. They're not like it's not good stuff. It's not
That
like,
I don't
yeah.
know. That Friday the 13th box set's definitely worth 100 in my opinion. I think that's a fantastic box set.
I got it for like the 80, like
Yeah.
last year or whatever. Yeah, no, it's really worth it. And I got mine for free.
I did no, I didn't get that. I got my
You
Dawn
got
of the Dead
Dawn,
for
you got
free.
your
Yeah.
I got the Friday 13th set for free because basically what did I do? Oh, I was gonna return it
It's
because
damaged.
I still haven't opened it, but you could see from the visible spines of the discs, you know, how, like some of those Blu-ray cases are cheap. A lot of them are. It was chipped in the corner, and like a little piece of plastic was rattling around in there, and I could just see it without even opening it. And I just put in for a replacement, and they just said, "Oh, sorry about that. Here, just keep it. Here's a, just keep it for free." I'm like,
Was there out of
"Oh."
stock or
I don't They might have been temporarily out of stock because people were buying it up then at that point. I don't know, but regardless, I got it for free. So that's really cool. But anywho, I think it's enough of that. It's enough of that showboating. Enough of that. We're gonna talk about sitcoms. And I really don't know how we were gonna do it because I just want to shoot the breeze, man. Like when I think of sitcoms and I think of Todd and I think of myself, I think Family Matters. How could you not associate? I associate our friendship with uh, Quantum Leap, which is not a sitcom, and
no?
Family Matters. I
Yeah.
feel like it's the most quoted. Yeah, we've cut it out, Mr. Good Part. Like, watch the hair, huh? The Full House stuff, all that stuff. We could talk about that too, but I kind of just want to talk about, at least for now, TGIF. You know,
Yeah, we could talk about that. I also have other stuff
so
I
give
want
me
to
your
bring
list. How
out.
about you just run down the like list? Are they from the 80s and 90s? Or are they from all
80s,
over?
the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s.
I say we should hold off on the old stuff. Like I think we should partition this out a little bit.
Okay.
Let's see if we can stick with late 80s into the 90s, right? What would you say your top sitcoms are? And the reason why I say late 80s is you have a lot of key 90s sitcoms that started in like 88, 89, right? But they ran predominantly in the 90s.
Okay, yeah. So we can do 80s, 90s, and then today.
So when I think of the sitcoms I grew up with, as far as that were actually, there's plenty of sitcoms I grew up with that weren't, um, like most of Cheers ran when I was little, right? And it was off the air when I was kind of really growing up in the 90s. But when I think of the shows that I liked, a lot of that stuff, I was watching reruns and stuff, Nick at Night and stuff of shows. Perfect Strangers. That's another show too. That was really an 80s show. It was not really on new in my lifetime that I can remember much, but when I think of the shows that were valid, yeah, that
It's a
it
sitcom.
you think it's a sitcom?
I checked IMDb. It's considered a sitcom because
See,
it's comedic too.
mm, I think it's more drama.
I would say the early seasons are more drama, but
I'm
towards
gonna
the middle to
disagree
the
with
end.
you. I don't think we should talk about I honestly think we could spend a whole episode talking about Wonder Years, to be honest with you.
Okay,
Because it's a fantastic show. Let's hold I don't
let's
what do you
hold
guys
off
think in the
then.
chat? Do you think Wonder Years is a sitcom?
It's listed as a sitcom.
I think it's a drama. You know, sitcoms, mm, I'm talking about the traditional sitcom and the fact that usually filmed in front of a studio audience, or at least a laugh track. And when I think of 90s, I think of TGIF, the lineup of the 90s, right? We could talk about Full House, we could talk about Family Matters, we could talk about Step by Step, which is, your poor man's Brady Bunch. We could talk about even Boy Meets World. And I think Roseanne, I think a Tool Time, right? Those are, and you could Seinfeld started in the late 80s, but Seinfeld it dominated the 90s, right? In the 90s, the top shows were God, it was always Seinfeld, Roseanne, and like Tool Time head to head, right? Those are like the big boys
No, I
on.
agree.
So, but anyways, yeah, Plumke wants to talk about Sanford and Son. Sanford and Son's a little bit before. Sanford and Son's hilarious. Night Court is a great show as well. I think that's too predominantly in the 80s. It bled into the 90s, but I think we should hold off on that, even though Night Court is my earliest sitcom memory. Like it being 4 years old, it's just one of those foggy patches. I remember it being on. I remember the fucking saxophone and all that stuff. And then I remember, I don't know why I seem to recall after that went off, it would be Star Trek: The Next Generation, which I was never a fan of. But man, is that intro iconic because it just burned into my like 3 and 4 year old brain. But let's just start simple. Did
Yeah.
I touch on the main ones for you for the era? Or
Oh,
did I
for
miss anything?
for the prior era.
No, for like the late 80s, 90s predominantly. Like into the 90s, but it can start in the late 80s. Did I
Yes,
miss
yes.
anything?
I got a few here, but do you want to talk about some of these that I'm going to show?
We have to show them. Oh, I guess that is a sitcom. All right, I don't know why Todd's so hell bent on showing pictures. Everybody knows what fucking Saved by the Bell is. Why do we
Because
have to
Mr.
show this?
Belding is so funny, dude.
Why do we have to see this? Dude, I remember when I was in elementary school, we'd collect gold stars. We'd get awarded gold stars for just trivial little tasks like, "Oh, you picked up trash on the playground. That's a gold star. Oh, you helped your classmate. That's a gold star." And if you got 100 of them, you got to pick out a prize out of the prize box. And it was always the most randomized stuff. And I remember there was a Saved by the Bell poster in there in second grade. There was a Saved by the Bell poster, and I
Was
took
it
it.
this one?
No, 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 it
Okay.
was, vertical, and it wasn't Mr. Belding, but it was all the kids, and they were sitting on the stairs in the hallway of
Okay.
the high school hallway, and it was so funny because you had s dude, somebody was wearing a letter jacket. But all I remember I think
It had to be
I
Slater.
yeah, but I don't know why I remember Mark Paul Gosselaar maybe all I know is Mark Paul Gosselaar had an earring on that he never had in the
He
show.
played basketball, so maybe he had a Letterman's
But he had
jacket.
an earring in the poster. I'm like, "Oh, they clearly filmed this off season, and he
Yeah.
didn't bother to take his earring out." But, I don't know why I took that. I mean, because I was never, like, the biggest fan of it's
I'm
weird be
I'm still one of the biggest fans, man.
he's
I
a
love this show so
dude,
much.
Riverman's a huge fan. And the thing is I do like it, but I question, do I love it, or is it just so ingrained in my youth and pop culture that I like it because of that? Because I've seen every episode. Don't kid yourself. I've seen every episode a million times. So
Mhm.
and I do like it for that nostalgic itch, right? I know all the episodes, I can quote the dang thing, but I don't know, but I do acknowledge how stupid it is.
Well,
You know?
it's a kid's show, dude. Of course
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
stupid.
Mr. Mr. Belding with the pedo vibes, dude. Why is he hanging out with these kids so much, dude?
How
Is
old
there
do you think Mr. Belding is in this photo?
we're older than he is now in
You
that
really
picture.
think so?
I guarantee you we're older than he is in that photo.
He can't be in his 30s in this photo. That's ridiculous.
What season is this? Can you tell by how old they look?
This is probably
3?
season 3, yeah.
All right, so let me go ahead and look when season 3 aired. Saved by the Bell, season 3. By the way, if this just turns into a Saved by the Bell talk,
I
that
I
you know
I
what,
love Plump
dude,
I love Plumpke's comment, by the way.
you know what? I don't give a shit. We're gonna this can be a Saved by the Bell talk. You just want to talk about Saved by the Bell?
Well, you talk about Family Matters too.
We can talk about Saved by the Bell. We'll talk, but I want you to exhaust it. I want you to talk about all the episodes. We can talk about it. I know all the episodes. We can talk about our favorite episodes. I don't care. Becky, the oil, the duck, dude. That's like the most ridiculous one. She's gonna be okay. She's gonna be okay. All right, so let me okay, so this aired in 1991. So let me see how old Dennis Haskins is, right? Okay, not quite. In season 3, Haskins, he was 40.
Jeez,
He
building
he
was balding.
he wasn't quite 41 yet, but you're not far, my friend.
I'm not well, 3 years. I did like Good Morning Miss Bliss. I thought that was a yeah, I hated it as a kid, but now I like it as an
But that
adult.
tells you in Good Morning Miss Bliss, he was your age.
Oh, I know. That's crazy, man.
Yeah. Milo, Milo, Milo. Let's see here. Oh, Trickopedia. I was so upset and confused that NBC used Saved by the Bell to replace the cartoons on Saturday mornings along with other teen shows. Yeah, it started this weird trend where everybody had to compete with it. And then, you know, the creators of Saved by the Bell didn't even stop there. They created their other shows. You had stuff like California Dreams, and
You
I
had
remember
Zach and Kelly's wedding. You had Saved by the New Class. You had all that stuff.
but even later on, like way past the heyday of this, they still pumped out those sort of daytime teenage sitcoms. Remember like City Guys and stuff like that?
Yeah.
It was just a thing. And but yeah, man, I don't think there's another show in history that has more watch time hours before a school bus.
No, I agree. And Mark Paul Gosselaar is actually embracing it. His podcast is hilarious, where
Yeah,
he
it's
goes
funny.
from episode to episode, and he just cringes on it, and he just shits on himself, which is great, man.
I haven't listened to it in a while, but I listened to quite a few of those. They were funny. So it's one of those things that he's one of those celebrities that was doing a podcast during the pandemic to fill the void and fill the time.
Yeah.
And I kind of hate
There's so many memorable episodes too. I mean, you have, of course, the prom episodes. You have the Running Zach, which I loved. You have the mall episode. I love the mall episode.
I never miss a
You too.
U2 concert.
Yeah.
And then you always loved Rod Building. We
Oh,
got the better
Rod.
building.
Oh God, Rod Building was such a pimp, man. He was awesome.
Rod Building peaked with
He's like,
nowhere
I
to
got this
run.
but I got this stewardess. You gonna dump these kids for some weekend fling? Yes. Go for it,
Absolutely.
Rod.
Yeah, Zach would understand. But no, Zach's like, we got the better building. You know what's
Um,
funny is Zach was a good kid. You could tell it's like they might spend most of the episode with him worshiping a guy like Rod Building. In reality, what Rod Building did is something Zach would have done. Zach was an asshole. Zach Morris is trash. He really is, right? Like that would be the center of an episode. Zach would have been capable of ditching his friends, right, for a Rod Stewart concert. And he would eventually learn his lesson at the end of the episode or whatever. But I mean, I don't know. He always comes down. There's always like that moment with Building, like we got the better building,
but they didn't get the better building because he wanted to go to Yosemite. Why would you want to go to Yosemite? Why wouldn't you want to go whitewater rafting? I'd rather go
Oh, I
whitewater
know.
rafting.
Gosh, that'd be so. I've never
Especially
been
when you're in high
whitewater.
school, dude. It's like you don't want to go look at the deer drink out of the pond or whatever.
No,
Yosemite. I mean, that's
no,
for old
that's
folk. That's for old fucks like us.
exactly. Would you go whitewater rafting today, though?
Yeah, I would.
I would. I really want to. That'd be fun. Wouldn't that be fun to plan like a whitewater trip?
Yeah, we
Like
get Rod
just
Belding on board too.
no, I
Hit
mean
him up.
like just get some cronies together. Even see like someone like Pat or somebody. Just get a small gang and just go on a whitewater trip. Even if it's a drive, that'd be fun, man.
We should do the prep and do like the mouth to mouth on the other contestants. Maybe I can do mouth to mouth on you, Aaron. You don't remember that episode?
What? Yeah, yeah. I've been waiting to hear that my whole lifetime. No, I was kidding. No, I was just in shock. So what are your favorite episodes, would you say? If you had to list, like, 5, if you had to shoot off the top, your head.
It's got to be more of the prom episodes where AC Slater's like lip syncing Michael
Michael
Bolton.
Bolton.
I mean, I quote that all the time. I quote the Zach song where he comes up with Bayside as a school is cool, and you know that is true. That where they
And
come up with the school song.
Pity-poo,
Yeah,
pity-poo-poo.
the older ones.
That's great.
There's just so many, man. I mean, probably like 2 or 3 out of each season that are just ones that you wanna go back to over and over again. They're so dumb, but they just bring back so much nostalgia. So, I think it was what, 1st, 2nd grade, second you get home, flip on the TV at like 4 o'clock, they would show Saved by the Bell,
It
and
was
that's when
always
I
on
watched it.
it was always on the hour leading up to the school bus, like, early at the ass
But
crack of
I never got to watch it before school. I always had to watch it when I got
that.
home, so
I always got to watch 1 full episode and then start the 2nd episode, and somewhere in the middle of the 2nd episode, I'd hear the bus coming around the corner, psh, and I had to run
Yep,
outside. That was
and
my thing.
And it started with that, and then it led into, Batman the Animated Series. So
Mm.
I got to watch those pretty much back to back. So that was my, childhood growing up was those 2.
If you were more well-versed in the Batman anime series, that could be a whole episode because, man, that was a classic show back in the day.
It's fantastic, and I haven't seen it in, 20 year 30
Well, I
years now,
if you
so
ever wanted to just rewatch it to bone and prep a little bit and do a big episode, I would do one because that show really deserves it. I have the Blu-ray set, and it's
yeah.
got, I think it has the Voodoo copies. So, yeah, I think
Okay.
that's what it is. It does. I think it sucks because the Blu-ray is widescreened and, they HDified it, but the digital copy was standard, which I remember pissed me off, but it is what it is.
My
But that would be go
Go
ahead.
ahead. No, go
No,
ahead.
I'm just
I'm
saying
going
it's gonna
back
be
to
aw
Saved by the Bell. Go ahead.
No, 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 yeah, that would be fun to do. If you guys hear us bring up topics like that, if you really want us to do them, like stuff like, for example, Batman or whatever, let us know, give us feedback, shoot us a message on the Discord and stuff like that, because that'll help us keep track and, schedule and stuff. But now, what about Artie, dude? Fucking Slater's lizard Artie.
Oh, it's ridiculous. "Oh, Artie boy, da,
Yeah.
da, 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 da." He's, like, crying over a newt, dude. His
I
newt
knew.
died.
Remember when he's like in costume? Put on
Oh,
ice. The skillet.
yeah.
What about what
My
about
my most hated episode is Jesse's song because that one is so overplayed, and I am so sick of hearing about Jesse's song. Of course, the caffeine pill episode, which everybody quotes, but
yeah, it's a meme. I mean, you
ugh,
know what I mean? So yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so scared. What's your opinion on the season working on the beach?
I love those. I love those.
Do you
Malibu
really?
Beach Club, yes, I do.
Now, was that an entire season or just part of it? Because they filmed the show very oddly. So correct me if I'm wrong, but it may have even aired when it was airing new. It might have been like a Malibu Beach Club episode, and then it would have gone back to like a Tori episode in high school, Malibu Beach. Like they were just
Yeah.
all spliced together. And that whole season where Tori was on there, they alternated. They didn't
Mhm.
film them like that, but like, well, shit, let's put you'd have one episode where it'd have Tori and no Kelly.
Yeah,
Or am
and
I
you were wondering
is
what
it
the hell's going on.
yeah, and then next one would have Kelly. And they couldn't keep like any arcs going. They're all like single episodes or whatever. And you have one episode where Zach's going after Tori, another episode Zach's going after Kelly, and there's no mention of a Tori, which Tori I think went on to be a lesbian. She was very butch, very
Yeah,
tough.
she actually does cameos now. I actually saw her on Cameo, so she's still embracing the Tory role.
What else is there to embrace?
Well,
She
I'm
played
just
Tori
saying
for like
she's
she,
embracing the Tory
she played
role.
Tori for like 10 episodes or less, you know.
Well, maybe for your birthday next year, Aaron, I'll get you a Tory
Blow up doll.
cameo. A
Okay,
cameo. Hey, Aaron, this is Tori from Saved by the Bell.
that's funny. So yeah, the sequence and the way they aired them was always confusing, but I guess as a kid, I never really cared. It never bothered me. I didn't really pay attention to that stuff deeply as a kid. Like I acknowledged it, but I didn't really think too hard about it, right?
When I was a
Um,
kid, I always got mad about when they came out with the Good Morning Miss Bliss when they threw those in there because as a kid, I didn't think those were funny because the Screech was young, You
And
had
Miss Bliss was the main character. It wasn't really
yeah,
quite Zach and you had, like, his buddy Mikey who never,
Mikey, yeah, yeah,
yeah, which is technically a different show, and they later on, when it became a hit, they rebranded that season as Saved by the Bell as well. But yeah, it's just who's the only cat? Lisa, Screech, and Zach. They
yeah.
got rid of Mikey, replaced him with a Slater, and they added a Kelly. Oh, and Kelly Kapow. They had another girl. What was her name?
Jesse
No,
Spano.
on Good Morning Miss Bliss was it like Dina or something. I don't know. What
Yeah,
was her name?
I think it was Dina. Yeah,
The Carly. I don't think it was Dina. I can't remember. But and they had Milo. It was more about, and they had Belding, and they had Miss Bliss, and yeah, I know those episodes didn't really pop off quite well. The only episode I always think about though of Miss Bliss is that episode where Miss Bliss's nephew was the pop star.
Deke. Oh no. Oh, you're thinking of yeah, yeah. I know you're talking about the
It was like the Tiffany knockoff,
Tiffany.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it was the knockoff of Tiffany, but she was like the
Mhm.
mall pop star, and she was a huge celebrity. And we found out that she's Miss Bliss's niece or something, and she comes to stay, and Zach is trying to get with her. That's like the only notable episode I can think of when I think of Good Morning Miss Bliss, really.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of them, but yeah, I
Yeah,
enjoy it now as I'm getting older because I don't know.
my
It's
mom's in the
something you haven't
chat.
seen as many.
Yeah, Leah Remini was at the beach episodes. Do you know why they decided to film at the beach, like for some rate with different cast? What was the reasoning for this? Were they like, oh, we need to bump the ratings, we need to just change it up, or did because like I said, it was really confusing, and they ended up just splicing it with other episodes anyway. Like, what was the reason?
Yeah, and they're trying to come up with something that's not during the school year. So I don't know if Dennis Haskins couldn't do it that year or those episodes or what. But yeah, they needed to work outside of the high school set. So that's a
Because
good
they were
question.
were they really I mean, why? Because were they really underage during that season?
That's a good. I don't know. I don't know
It's because
that.
it's not like they were using a real high school that needed to be used. That was clearly a set,
No,
Todd.
it's all set. No, no, that's what I'm saying.
They
It's like
couldn't film.
they,
They had to go back to school and use
that's why I'm
that
saying Dennis Haskins probably couldn't do it or something, or maybe he didn't want to do it. And
they couldn't use the school to film because the real kids had to go back and use that 5x5 gymnasium. That
Mhm.
little tiny gym, dude. Um, well, one of the biggest things I think about Saved by the Bell is the supporting cast. There's tons of them, right? Like, is it Violet? You have Mr. Dewey.
Yep.
Is it Violet? Is that Screech's Squeeze? That was
Yeah,
is that
Tori
her name?
Spelling.
Yeah, Tori Spelling. And then
Yeah.
you mentioned Rod Belding. You also have the actor that was playing Zach's dad in that one episode. Who else? You have Ox. You have just the nerds. You nerds get out of here. Will you nerds get out of the hall? And they just be like mutated freaks. Like who were the best? But you have these people like Jeff, right? Who's a
Mhm.
top. Like if you had to say your top side characters in the series, and maybe Rod's in there too, but Jeff is very big. He's in a classic episode, right?
My
And
my number one as a kid, okay, is the school nurse.
oh, I knew you were gonna say that.
Like
And
I was
and,
when I was a
and
kid, I was so
dude,
hot and
the
bothered
less
by her, dude.
the lesson that she teaches Zach is a little inappropriate, don't you think?
Oh God, yeah.
It's
Yes.
naughty. No, no, but isn't it funny? Like this is a kid. This is
Mhm.
a kid, and she's like, "Well, I'm going to teach him a lesson. I'm going to seduce him, but fake seduce him in the nurse's office." Like this is going a little far, don't you think? Right? And she's like, he's a pro wrestler, my husband. Yeah, Hulk Hogan says he could be the champ. Someday, your
Yeah.
husband, all that stuff. But it just went really far. And his teacher did the same thing, who I don't think you really saw after that. A blonde Tom Cruise, where
Oh
they
yeah,
wanted to
yeah.
play, that prank on Zach to act like all the women wanted him. Even the teacher, dude. Like, what kind of school is this?
And yeah, I just had like a huge thing for her after I saw that episode, and I'm like, I don't know, because she was in I think a lot of stuff as well,
Yeah.
after the fact. But yeah, that was season 3. That was called From Nurse to Worse.
My
But I
mom, she says Max from the Max. Yeah, he is obviously a recurring good side character. And his whole thing was he like a stand-up comedian or something? Because he would just show up, give the food, and he would do some little stupid like Joey Gladstone gag, like with little hands on his hat. "Ooh," and then walk away. Like he never really served the plot any. He just kind of showed up and did something stupid, like had a floppy dicky, something stupid.
Mr. Tuttle, he was funny. He was the driver's ed teacher. I mean, you had all these side characters that were just great, I thought. The majority of a lot of big, well-known stars, but they came up from Saved by the Bell.
And obviously you have the beach season 2, and you have Leah Remini. Isn't it funny how they're just working a summer job, and they all coincidentally got a job at the same place, and they all got hired, and they never. It almost felt as a kid like, are they living here? Like, are they living on this beach too and got room and board? But no, I guess you assume they just had a job and they were going home every day. But when they were in high school, we had plenty of scenes of them at like Zach's house or whatever. We never
Yeah.
got to see Zach's house during the beach stuff. It always just felt like they were living there, which is weird. And I think when I think of later episode, oh, how are we forgetting about Johnny Dakota?
Oh yeah, Giant Dakota is
Johnny
fantastic.
Dakota's great, man. It's just a little pot, right?
Yeah,
I
just like yeah, because Ox was in there. They use these recurring characters, some of them, and they gave them different names because they didn't have anybody else. Because Ox was not Ox, I think, before that, because he was actually he went to school and then in that episode, I think he was like just Johnny Dakota's friend.
Oh, really? Did he have any
Yeah.
lines?
Oh, he was smoking a joint in the bathroom or whatever.
I
He's
think
like,
that's so funny. You know damn right if Kelly existed in real life, she just would have took a hit.
oh, absolutely.
She was looking at him like she was crushed. Like, I can't what? Come on, it's just a little pot. And then, of course, they had to do that whole PSA at the end. Or no, it was like it baked into the episode, right? Where Slater's like coming, stupid.
There's no hope with dope.
There's no hope with dope. So stupid. But I guess they knew their audience was that daytime crowd. And this is like coming off the Reagan years, right? And the war on drugs and
Yeah, the war
stuff.
on drugs and all that crap. Yeah.
And I remember Pee Wee Herman did it too. This is your brain on drugs. And he like, this is crack is whack. Everybody did it, man. Michelangelo, the TMNT from the animated series, they had a Say No to Drugs campaign, a Dare commercial as well. Everybody was
Oh,
doing it.
it's just a bunch of propaganda. Yeah, it's running your
But
face.
yeah, saying no to drugs, such propaganda. No, but yeah, I
No,
get
but it
it.
was. I mean, it's government propaganda.
But yeah, but the Pee Wee Herman, the this is your brain on drugs, and the crack is whack. Yeah, crack is whack. But like the weed thing is so funny. They treated it. It was still being treated like reefer madness in
Yeah.
1991. It's so funny. But it'd be kind of fun to go on a deep dive on YouTube. I'm sure you could find a compilation of all those dared war on drugs adverts, right, from the early 90s and stuff like that, like pre-Clinton. I
It's
bet you
Go ahead. I got a
I'd say
story.
I bet you there's ones that I don't remember. I bet you there's New Kids on the Block probably did them. Whoever was relevant those days. I'm pretty sure Tiffany did it. Debbie Gibson probably freaking did it. Uh, any other cartoon or whatever that I missed, they probably did it. It's really funny.
They always threw those PSAs on like the Saturday morning cartoons and the
Yeah.
afternoon cartoons, and I used to drive my mom nuts with them because there was one that I just loved. Excuse me. And it went like this. It was like nobody ever says I want to be a junkie when I grow up. Don't let drugs get in the way of your dreams. And it's like
Oh
some
yeah.
junkie running or whatever. And
Yeah,
I
no,
always tell my mom, I want to be a junkie when I grow up, mom.
yeah, I think we all did that. It was like slow-mo. I want to be a
Yeah.
junkie when I grow up. And he was like some kid wearing like a hoodie and he had like
Yep.
shaggy hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I remember that vividly, man. And you know what other sometimes they would take shows that were on more prime time
Mhm.
and put them on. Like for example, during Saturday morning cartoons on ABC, they had Full House,
Yeah.
Say No to Drug campaigns. And they would have like a little skit. I remember this one with like it was Kimmy and Stephanie Tanner, and they had a little skit in the kitchen of Full House, and it was a Say No to Drugs like little mini skit. And it would just be on in the middle of cartoons. But I'll never forget the TMNT one too.
Another very effective one growing up was I think they just got done doing drugs and they were jumping in a pool. And the pool was empty. There was no water in it. So they're like, you better know what you're jumping into if you do drugs. And they're, like, jumping off the diving board, dude. There's no water in it.
Yeah,
So it's like
that's
I was, like, freaked out as a kid. I was like, "Oh, shit."
this is your brain. This is your brain on drugs. Any I always think of the Freddy's Dead
Oh,
with
yeah.
Johnny Depp. And he's in the commercial. And yeah, that's so dated. You watch Freddy's Dead now. If a kid watched Freddy's Dead that wasn't around back then, they're gonna like, what is this reference? This is your brain on drugs, forever. I really hate dated references like that just because God, they can't have any hindsight. Like you should know, like, man, what if this isn't relevant in 10 years, 20 years? Like this
Mhm.
reference I'm making, it instantly dates something. Yeah, Trekopedia is absolutely right. When I was talking about TMNT, it made me think of that. He says that was back when the cartoon All Stars to the Rescue was a big hit. You remember that? They had a special called the Cartoon All Stars to the Rescue, and it was just a stupid propaganda special, and it just combined all your favorite Saturday morning cartoons. Like it probably had like Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers in there. Michelangelo from the TMNT like showed up, and it was all wasn't it all about some kid and dope, right? And this kid kept running into all your favorite cartoon characters, I fell for it because I'm like, ooh, what's this, right?
Oh, here, I think I have it. Hold on, let me pull it up.
Slimer, yeah, Plemke Slimer was probably there. It is. Look at that. Yeah, it's Garfield was there, dude. The Chipmunks, that was my shit. And Winnie the Pooh. You have the Muppet Babies, Huey, Dewey, and Lewis,
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
Dude, like these are, and you have Michelangelo, right? Who is that little fart in the wind? Who's that? That ghost from like Ghostbusters? What is that from? But
I have no idea.
look, think about it. We got all these properties mixing. I don't know if I mean Garfield wasn't Disney. Muppets, I can't remember if they were bought out at Disney at that point because I know Disney owned them at a point and then they got rid of them again. But I'm just gonna assume they weren't Disney at the time because when Muppet Babies was on the air, this is when they were showing all that footage of like Ghostbusters and Spider-Man like it was non-Disney property. So I think they were in the hands of somebody else at the time. Obviously, Huey, Dewey, and Lewis were Disney. Winnie the Pooh's Disney. Is that a fucked up looking Tigger in the background? I think that is. And
Yeah,
obviously,
I think so
TMNT.
too.
TMNT is something. Its own. Yeah, total propaganda, man. Really, really funny.
There's so many good things on there, and yeah, like you're saying, it was with the Reagan administration with the Dare.
Oh
Um,
yeah, the Dare program. Like,
'Cause we had to wear the Dare shirts,
mhm.
and yeah, it was crazy, man. I
we
mean,
had we had the dare officers come in talk to us about the do's and don'ts about drugs, and I remember my most notable dare officer in elementary school ended up committing suicide. So maybe he needed some drugs in his life because I don't know, to take the edge off. I don't know what it is, but
probably. I mean,
clearly, I mean, not to make light of that, but it was kind of messed up as a kid because I remember he committed suicide while I was in elementary school. And it's like, wait a second, this guy was talking about not doing drugs because it can kill you and it leads to a disastrous life. But it was confusing as a kid. But I'm like, okay, well, he wasn't doing drugs and he clearly killed himself. Like it's just weird. I don't think as a kid you're really thinking about killing yourself and suicide and stuff. And just
no,
a
no, you're not
weird
thinking that
topic.
shit.
But yeah, the dare thing was weird. It was interesting. I have a Freddy Krueger dare shirt. I have that Nightmare 3 dare to resist drugs shirt, where he's got the syringe fingers.
Oh, yeah, that's
He's
awesome,
got
dude.
the "Let's get high."
Yeah, let's
I
get
bought
up.
it's a raglan, it's a baseball tee, and I hate it because I can't really wear it anywhere. I can't wear that in public, dude. He's got the syringes, dude, like
Oh,
dare
why
to resist.
not, dude?
It's a little racy, but yeah. Anyway, it's fun. It's too big, dude. I bought it because with raglans, you never know how they're sized.
They shrink in the
Like sometimes
wash
they run
too, yeah.
super small, so I always like to buy big. But they
Mm,
run super big, and I bought this one, like, in an XL, and it's like you're swimming in it. It's so
mhm.
big. So, it's not really fitting to wear outside the house for that reason, but, I wear it around the house. Anyway, yeah, so we got all that out of, Saved by the
Saved by
Bell.
the
Yeah, so I feel like we could talk about that for much longer, but let's move on to another one. Let's talk a little bit about Family Matters because that one's super important. And if we have
Yeah,
to break this up and call it like a part one and revisit the topic again later, we can do that. But I feel like we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about that one. So, uh, talk about a great show. And this was a show where this might just be my perspective. You guys tell me if I'm wrong, but back in the day, nobody called the Cosby Show or Family Matters, "Oh, that black show." It was just another sitcom.
Yeah, yeah.
Now I feel like we have these pigeonholed sitcoms that are pandering to certain markets, and they're getting that weird push. Like, "Oh, it's this show for these people." And I don't know if that's the way to go, because I never thought like, "Oh, that black show." It was just an
No,
awesome sitcom.
no,
Look,
nobody ever did.
you had to give us a late era with, 3J.
I had to put 3J in there, didn't Richie?
But dude, what a great show, man. Yeah, little Richie, dude. What a great show. This doesn't even have Waldo in it, but it's got Myra, RIP. But what a fantastic show, man. If you guys aren't familiar with the history of the show, oh, that's so funny. When I was just talking about how nobody would call that a black, my mom says I would.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, well, apparently some of us see things differently. I don't know what to say to that. But yeah, this show started off as Carl's show. This is Reginald Vell Johnson's TV show. This is his vehicle. He was right off of Die Hard playing a cop. He got cast as a cop, the same character basically. And it was a typical family sitcom. And Urkel was he was like Kimmy Gibbler, right? He was just like the
Yeah.
side character. He was what you talk about Willis. He had his little catchphrase, he'd pop in, but he
Did
was
I
not the
do
focal.
that?
Yeah, he was not the focal. And then it's pretty storied, but the ratings for Urkel were through the roof. He was testing as the most popular character. Everybody wanted to see Urkel. I think to the point where everybody at that even early on was calling the show Urkel. Because
Yep,
I think,
that's
you
what
know,
I thought of it as well.
and so they course corrected and they made Urkel the focus, right? And you know, a lot of times Carl would be he'd be written into the show as sort of a device for Urkel's buffoonery, right?
Mhm.
You know, Urkel would like drive his fucking bug through the entire house into the kitchen, and he would be like, "Did I do that?" And then Carl would be like, "Go home, go home, go home." And it was this whole thing, but I don't know, man. Clearly, there's a shift, right, from the early episodes.
Yeah,
It's a little bit more of a family-centric sitcom, more run-of-the-mill, where there's a dilemma. You know, they tackled stuff like racism, you know, Laura in the locker, and then Eddie getting profiled by the cop, right?
yeah.
You know, for speeding or not speeding. I was keeping up with the flow of traffic, just like you told me. Um, and then there's the episode about gang violence where Eddie gets beat up and he comes home, he's all bloody, Dad, and then it cuts to commercial, all drama, dude.
I always liked the episode where him and his dad, built Eddie's first car, dude. It always made me cry when he was like he was gonna bring his friends out, driving, Waldo, Geraldo, Faldo, and then he skipped out on Waldo, he's like, "Hop in, Dad." And then I started crying, dude. It's so sad,
I
dude.
mean, but don't you feel bad for Waldo?
No, dude,
Yeah.
dude, mi
Hop in, Dad. Yeah, I know.
yeah, Carl was so
I
excited, dude. He's like all shaking, dude. He's all excited. He's like, "Let's go."
Edward, Edward, Edward. Edward, Edward, Edward. And I just Carl's the best, dude. Like when Eddie's in trouble, Edward. Come here,
Yeah.
Edward. Edward, Edward, Edward. Or
Mother
I
Winslow.
I love you, Harriet. And I love you, Carl.
I love you, Kyle.
Gosh. I I don't know, man. Yeah, they were funny. And yeah, of course you got Mother Winslow, right? Mother Winslow, did you have a bad dream? No,
No, it
it
was
was good. Fletcher came home from the deli, brought her the meat, man.
yeah, she
Mm.
was, all about Fletcher at that point.
Yeah. I remember the episode where it wasn't a main focal point of the episode. I just remember she comes home and she had got done taking little Richie to see Crisscross.
Oh, yeah, yeah, okay.
I love all that little dated stuff that, like, you know, I mean, I know I just was
It's total
shitbagging
90s, yeah.
stuff that date stuff, but I don't know. It's a trip, dude. Look at that. Okay, this is later in the series
I'm a
where,
nerd.
yeah. Okay, so this is when you could argue the series jumped the shark, but it was still great.
Yeah.
But from a writing standpoint, it started off as more of a run-of-the-mill family show, like we just talked about. We didn't bring up the gang. I love it. Chain, where Urkel went
Oh god,
undercover as the
we
gang.
gotta look that up, dude.
But
Chain.
hold on, before we move on to this, we got to the point in the series. This is the last few years where They do what they always do, man. After 8 seasons, you run out of ideas, and we get stale just hanging around the Winslow home, so we have to take him to Paris, France. We gotta have Stefan show up and Urkel turn in Urkel had been turning into Stefan for quite a while, which is pretty silly. But that's, that was sort of dipping her toe in the silliness. But then we have his machine turning Carl into a nerd, right? You have Urkelbot, and you have you have Bruce Lee, the
Bruce
Bruce
Lee,
juice,
yeah.
the Bruce
Bruce Lee
juice.
was in a lot of episodes because
And
he
then there
got
was the episode
yeah,
where both Carl and him were Bruce Lee's, and they were taking
yeah.
on the bad guys. Like, it got really fucking stupid. Like the episode where they're taking down him and Carl, Bruce Lee, this fat and skinny guy. It's just turned into like a Batman in the '60s show or whatever. Them taking out these yeah, Urkel voice Sonic Plumkey. That is 100% correct. Yeah, look at oh yeah, there's Carl. It's so small. Look at that low res. Look at that. But I gotta tell you, I I don't think there's any other sitcom that did the seasonal episode best. Dude, this has some of the best Halloween episodes. You have Stevel,
Oh, yeah.
the Urkel doll, and then you had that they came back a couple of times. Then there was an episode where Stevel and there was Evil Carl, right?
Yeah.
Look, pull up a photo of Stevel and Evil, and is that what they were calling him, Evil Carl? I don't even remember what his name was.
Stevel?
Yeah, look up Stevel, dude. This is nightmare inducing. And literally, they had like a fever dream episode where Stevel was killing everybody in the house. Remember, they were finding the bodies,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Chuck.
I do remember
Yeah,
that.
Stevel, dude, so funny. It was like a Chucky movie. In fact, forget Freddy versus Jason. I want to see Stevel versus Chucky, dude.
That'd be
Hardcore.
awesome.
Pull it up, dude. Where's
I'm trying I'm
Stevel?
trying to I'm trying to find Stevel, dude. Okay, Stevel.
Yeah, I don't know if it was. I
Oh
don't know
my
if they,
gosh, dude.
you found it. Oh yeah,
Oh my
pop it on.
gosh. Yes. Okay, here we go.
Jeez,
Why does it come up in paint?
it's stupid. It's not gonna. I thought you were just sharing the screen.
Here, I'll show it. It's on bloody disgusting, dude.
Okay. Yeah, I'm a
Like,
nerd. Okay. Dude, look at that shit. And he had this voice like, I'm Steve. Ha, 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 ha. It's
look
really
at Steve
scary.
in the background.
Yeah. it's really funny, man. Oh, we forgot he also had his catchphrase. Remember, he was like eating M&M's, like, "Oh, green, my fave," and he'd be like, "Steve, shh, how I'm chewing."
Yeah. That while I'm chewing.
Dude, he had a lot of catchphrases. How many people had that many? He
Oh,
had "Did I do that?" That was the big one. Not while I'm chewing, and I think he had. Didn't he have another one?
I don't know. He had so many. I can't think of them.
I love it though. Whenever they would like guilt the audience, like whenever he'd do something bad, and then like literally he would crash land a fucking helicopter through that roof if he could. He did the worst stuff, and then Carl will be like, "Go home, go home, go home," and there would be those moments where he'd be like really sad, and he'd stop and look at you and look at Carl, and then they go, "Oh,"
I don't have to
and he,
take this. I'm going home.
yeah, I don't have to take it. So I'm going home. And I never empathize with Steve. I empathize with Carl 100%. Like, dude, Carl Winslow was uninsurable. Like, how did he afford insurance? He didn't have it, dude. When you have every other week because that house was fixed, literally the damage that kid did, and they never spoke word one of the parents. I know, like they would mention the parents, but dude, if I was Carl, I'd be beating down their door and be like, "You fuckers are paying for this. This is absolute bullshit."
I remember God, one of my favorite
Where's
episodes.
Evil Carl, dude? We have to see Evil Carl.
Let me look.
They should. They should just be able to find a photo of both of them together.
Oh, okay. Um, is that him, dude?
Yeah, yeah, and you can see like I think there's a picture you can see of both of them together where their eyes are glowing red. Oh, dude, the Carl looks great, dude. I would love to have that in my house, dude. I would love to have that Carl puppet, man.
Oh
Wouldn't that be
man.
so random just to have like a little like? That puppet, dude. Talk about a conversation piece. I would just I would put it in the entryway of my house.
Like
It would just
Carl.
be I would sit it on a little puppet chair in front of my staircase, and people would just like, "What?"
That's hysterical, dude.
Creep you out in the night, dude. You see those white eyes, dude, in the dark. Dead eyes. But yeah, man, do you have any particular favorites? How do you feel about how the show progressed? Did you hang on to the show every season? Because I know they got canceled on ABC and CBS picked them up for the last season or two, right? And they recast Harriet for the last season, if you remember when they went to
Yeah,
CBS.
I don't really care about the Harriet character,
It
so I
got
didn't care
weird
they
because Steve married Laura.
yeah,
Weird.
yeah.
It's like you don't want to
But
see them
no,
get
was it
together.
Steve or Stefan?
No, Steve.
Okay,
She grew to love Steve,
okay.
right? She didn't want Stefan. Which is backwards, dude. Oh yeah, how can we look the many faces of Steve? Well, Myrtle Urkel doesn't count because that was technically his cousin. That
Yeah,
really that wasn't Steve and Drag.
and then
Look at the
Bruce Lee
Bruce Lee
Urkel.
Urkel, dude. Look at that face he's making. So funny.
No more with the night guy. That's what he
No
always
one with
said.
the night guy. Yeah, he's like, wait, what did he say? What did he say? It's like he drank the Bruce juice.
Oh
He's like,
yeah.
is Lee? He's like, oh, what the kung fu guy? He's like, no, Sarah Lee, the cooking lady. I re- yeah, Myrtle Urkel is funny, dude, because she was always hot for Eddie, dude.
Oh,
And
that's gross, dude.
he was always she's getting touchy. So, oh Edward, oh Edward,
Well, they used to call him Fast Eddie because he gets so many
he
girls.
sealed the deal. He closed the deal every night, every time, real fast. Even though wasn't there, it wasn't there that episode where he like confided that he was a virgin or whatever. Wasn't it like that episode, or am I thinking of a different
It
sitcom?
might have been when was he in college or something like maybe they just threw
Yeah,
that
like
in there.
older or whatever, because I mean, they all did that. Like even like Will Smith did that too. Like because you have these reputations like Fast Eddie or the Fresh Prince or whatever, and then late in the Fresh Prince, he's got to tell Carlton that he's a virgin. Like you, which is no one's buying that. These
Oh
these
no.
guys got Will Smith went out with so many ladies. It's totally stupid. But yeah, Fast Eddie. I would be like, why do they call you Fast Eddie then? If you've actually never done anything, does that mean you come in your pants? Like whenever you see the wind picks up? I don't understand what Fast Eddie means. It's so stupid. And so he was friends with Waldo Geraldo Faldo. Yeah, that's disturbing. I don't did I love it when they went on the Match Game TV
Oh
show?
yeah. Oh
And then
god.
I think he got matched up with Myrtle Urkel. Yeah, look at that, dude. That's awesome. I wish I had a high definition resolution poster of that, dude. I would frame it. It wouldn't look good, but I wish I could have a photo of it. Look at that hand groping his titty.
That's hysterical, dude.
It's what when's the last time you watched that episode with both them?
It's been a
The
long time, man.
dude, go on Hulu and just watch it. It's awesome, man. I don't remember which one's which. I think it's the first one where it's just Stevel, where it's like the people are just getting picked off one by one like a slasher movie. It's funny.
This is still probably one of my favorites. We mentioned it before, but
Oh, Chain.
Shane, yeah, yeah. Where he's wired or whatever, and he goes in there. Is this the one with Jason David Frank in there? Because
Yeah, he's one of the gang members.
when we met him,
No,
I asked him about this. I remember
no,
in
no,
the
no,
Q and
no,
A.
no. Gosh, I'm having trouble remembering. Was Chain also in the park? Because I remember
Oh, Chain was the
Dave.
park. Yeah, okay,
I don't know. No, I'm saying Jason David Frank was in the park. Was this also the same episode? Do they see each other in the park and this apartment?
maybe. No,
No,
I
I
think
don't
I think
think
he was just in
so.
the park.
Because you have that big black guy that put on the tiny glasses, right?
Yeah.
No, yeah, so that was a different episode. But yeah, Jason David Frank was, and it's funny, yeah, and that was in Power Rangers. That was when that was on the air and everything else, and deep into it. So it was kind of odd. I don't think
Okay.
he had any lines though, did he?
I don't remember. I
I
do
don't
have
know.
my favorite episode. I was actually thinking about this not too long ago. I'm trying to find a photo of it.
Did you ever, while you're finding it, did you ever want to have lunch at Rachel's place?
Absolutely.
I always want to go to Rachel's place. Have Laura serve me some like French fries, and I really wanted to just experience that. Do we
God.
need to talk about? It's been talked about to death. The Rudy disappearance, right? Rudy just got wrote off the show. She went on to
Yeah.
do porn.
Oh, she did? Oh, yeah, she did, okay.
Yeah, She got wrote off because I'm guessing there just wasn't enough. Steve became so popular, where it's like, well, we don't have room for another kid. We got all a story arc now. We got to focus on Steve and give him, Steve Urkel centric stories. You could argue they really didn't have room for Richie because he never really was central to any of the plots. He would just be like comic relief. He would say a line or whatever, and run off, right? And like any show, when they start running out of ideas, things get a little stale, people get older, they got to introduce some fresh blood. In the case of the show, they introduced 3J, played by
Oh,
Orlando Brown.
3G. Yeah, yeah.
Played by Orlando Brown, who is now batshit crazy, right? You can find his clips online all the time saying the weirdest shit.
Okay, this was my favorite episode. Was Car Wars, where Laura goes
Oh,
to buy a
what's
car.
up? Yeah,
Yeah, and the car salesman is like some misogynist
yeah.
that oh god,
And
he
it's it's
they
it's
caught
it
cat call girls like the whole episode, like, "Hey, BB, come here."
Oh yeah, that's so funny, dude. Yeah, hey, baby, moo, 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 moo. That's
So
so
cheesy,
stupid,
dude.
dude. Who would fall for this? Who would fall for that? Yeah, like, yeah, and totally ridiculous. And I remember the actor who played the car salesman was a regular character actor that showed up on these sitcoms a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, just stepped on my Mark Knopfler box set, dude.
Oh, Jesus.
Wonder if I did that damage. It's no
3J.
bueno. Urkel was the first transgender sitcom star, Plemke. Yes,
Could have been, yeah.
I would agree. Well, no, that's drag. It's totally different. I mean, I don't think he went that method to cut his dick off just to play Myrtle, you know.
Maybe Laura
Anyway,
did. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know, but yeah, this is tops. I love it. Um, even the supporting characters are brilliant. The ones that like there was never really any Mother Winslow centric episodes. I don't really think there was too many like Rachel centric episodes. They were just
There's one or two maybe, and maybe
with the
one or
restaurant got the restaurant got
yeah,
vandalized, right?
by
Kind
the
of.
gang. Yeah.
Yeah, by the gang. But it's a classic. So do they have any what do they have any Christmas episodes? They
Oh, I'm
had to
sure they
have.
did. Yeah, yeah.
They had to have. I think if I had to go Christmas, Full House had the best Christmas episodes.
They did have good ones.
They had the good Christmas I don't really recall them having too many Halloween episodes, but they had Christmas. I remember late. This is like the last season, maybe back when Jesse Katsopoulos had twins, Nikki and Alex. But I like the episode where him and Michelle get locked in Mickey Rooney's toy store overnight.
Oh, that was cool, yeah.
Yeah, just because he's like a curmudgeony old man, and they make his Christmas wish come true because they hand him over a cell phone to call his son. It's really stupid, but yeah, I don't know. Did you like Full House, or what were your other TGIF
I
shows you
I
liked?
love I love Full House. I love Full House. I love Step by Step. Um, what else was on there?
Yeah, my mom's correcting me. Rudy was on Cosby. Judy was on Family Matters.
Judy,
You're
yeah,
right.
Judy.
Whatever. Who gives a fuck?
Waldo Geraldo Faldo, I saw he's doing cameos now too, so
Yeah, I
he
mean,
has,
why
like, all
wouldn't you?
gray hair and stuff. It's funny to see old Waldo.
You're not far behind, man. We all get old. Isn't Waldo really a chef in real life?
I have no clue. That's a good
I think
question.
I think I was stalking him on Instagram. I think he might really be a chef because I know he was in the show. He found his love in culinary because he was dumb as bricks, and I think he might be a real chef in real life.
Hmm.
Maybe that's something like wrote into the show. But yeah, I don't know. What other TGIF shows did you like?
Let me look up the list.
There was dude, there Perfect Strangers, that's a little old. We're not talking about that. You had
Perfect Strangers
Step by
is
Step.
Boy Meets World is good, of course.
That was a little bit later, but yeah, that's 90s. Step by Step, which you had
Sabrina I wasn't really big into that.
that
Dinosaurs I loved when I was a kid.
Sabrina was not TGIF, was it?
Yeah, it was 96.
But it wasn't TGIF though.
Yeah, it was. Uh,
Was it written? It was?
let me look it up. Sabrina launched the later years of TGIF.
Hmm.
Dinosaurs, Hanging with Mr. Cooper. I enjoyed that.
Oh, Dinosaurs was TGIF?
Yeah.
What a crazy concept of a show. Like, what a shit idea that somebody pitched and they agreed to. Like a sitcom star. It's really impressive looking, right? The costumes of that.
Mhm.
It doesn't really hold up. I know Mac loves dinosaurs. He talks about it all the time and he watches it, but for a hot second, you had that not the mama. You had that
Yeah.
baby Sinclair that was everywhere, and they had the toys and the dolls and stuff. But what a wild show.
Yeah, 2018 is when 1989 to 2018. That's crazy.
Oh, nobody was watching it in 2018.
No, not at
What
all.
was it? What was on TJF in 2018? What's that lineup look
I
like?
don't know. I'm on IMDb. I'm trying to look. Let's see.
Yeah, I don't think anybody cares about it. Do you remember? I just remember when they brought back Wonderful World of Disney. They would make these made for ABC movies on Saturdays, and they would always cast all the TGIF people. Like you had, God, what was that Bob Saget camping show? There was a movie with Bob Saget and Brian Bonsall, and I don't
I
remember
don't
what it
remember
was, like a
that.
camping movie, and they would have stuff like that. And yeah, I don't know.
Mr. Belvedere. I don't
W-
remember
it-
that.
Mr. Belvedere wasn't. That wasn't.
It was
That
one of
wasn't.
ABC's biggest TV shows at the time.
Yeah, but that wasn't TJF though, was it?
That's what it's
You
saying.
don't remember Mr. Belvedere at all? You don't remember that?
I don't remember it. No.
Yeah, I remember Mr. Belvedere. Uh, what
Clueless,
about
Sister Sister. Hmm.
Clueless? That was not TGIF. We're getting crazy now. I remember
Yeah,
the
it
Clueless TV
was.
show. What?
Yeah,
There's,
96 to 97.
but it was TGIF.
Yeah.
Do you remember when they had a Dangerous Minds TV show too?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
God, no. I was gonna say Hanging with Mr. Cooper though, who I always thought your kid was probably named after, but I guess I'm wrong. Uh, Mark Cooper.
No, it wasn't him.
Yeah, that's a show I think time forgot. You never see Hanging with Mr. Cooper. Has that show been on syndication ever after it aired?
I've never seen it on syndication.
And it was a hit show at the time, but I remember it had
5 years.
yeah, that's it only takes 3 to become syndicated,
Mhm.
right? So and it was a big show. I remember it had Holly Robinson Pete and it had Cuba Gooding, no, Omar Gooding.
Omar Gooding. Yeah,
Omar Gooding. And yeah, I didn't know who Mark Cooper was. Was he like a comedian or something? I'm assuming.
I think so. It was just a Martin ripoff.
Was it?
Hanging with Mr. Cooper. I thought it was.
I don't I don't know. I didn't see a connection because wasn't he like a high school basketball coach or something?
Either that or it was a what's his face that's on um God I can't even think of his name. I'll look it up. Hold on.
Yeah, I never cared for it. There was some shows that kind of feel like they could have fit on ABC, but they were on like WB, like Smart Guy. But that also had Omar Gooding, so that's probably that connection.
Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey.
Oh, Steve Harvey show. That was WB. That was
Oh, that was WB.
WWWB.
That was
Yeah.
like that Mr. Cooper, I thought.
Yeah. And I want to say the main kid on that, Marcus, he died or committed suicide.
Mm.
But one of the two, he died somehow. But yeah, I remember Steve Harvey, but that's WB. Speaking of Steve Harvey, totally sidetracked. Yesterday I watched on YouTube, they had Family Feud Celebrity Edition. It was the Jackass crew.
Oh yeah.
It was it was bizarre, man. Johnny Knox, Team Knoxville versus Jeff Tremaine, the director of Jackass, and it had everybody except for Steve-O, basically. And it was pretty wild, man. Johnny Knoxville, like every time one of his teammates gave a bad answer, he'd go up to him and tase him.
I'll have to watch that because my wife and I watch that all the time on Hulu.
Yeah, I just watched the full episode on YouTube. But anyway, I think we could wrap it up.
Yeah,
We scratched the
bathroom.
surface. We scratched the surface a little bit. We definitely, there's plenty of stuff we can revisit. I honestly think that shows like Wonder Years, like Todd talked about, and other shows, Seinfeld could be an entire episode for crying out loud.
I had
You know,
Seinfeld on my list. I had Curb Your
yeah,
Enthusiasm on my list. I have so
like
many.
like I said, this is really there wasn't too much method to how we were going to do this. We just wanted to shoot the breeze. But I think going forward, I realized that some of these shows are so big, you could just devote time to them.
Mhm.
So we're gonna go ahead and call it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys, if you guys are new to the YouTube, for example, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and please leave a comment. Help us out with interaction and the algorithms. Please be sure to listen to us on podcast free feeds. We're on all of them, so I'm not going to even bother listening them. Leave us reviews on those too, uh, or just a 5-star rating. That'll go a long way. If you want to support us, we do have a Patreon. We do have a Teespring if you want some Revival House merch. And if you are new, please do have a look around because we've been around for a very long time and we got an abundance of shows and podcasts. You'll find something that tickles your fancy. So, in the meantime, we'll see you next week. Have a good one.